What's up, guys? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It is Wednesday morning. It's a little bit after 4 a.m., so you'll be watching this video a little bit after I record it. But I wanted to jump on here early while I had a chance to talk a little bit of college football this morning with you guys and remind you that we have a live show this evening at 9 o'clock, the Rob and Kell Show. Also, Friday night, the 28th, that is next Friday night, the night before the South Carolina-Clemson game, we will be live on location at Callaway Sports Bar and Grill, West Columbia, South Carolina, on Highway 1, diagonal across from the Walmart. I'm going to put a link to Callaway's down in the description box below. Come hang out with us. We're going to do our live recording of our show there. We're going to do our picks on the rivalry week games. We'll also engage in some little contests, some trivia, some beer chugging, wing eating, dart throwing. Who knows? I may try to pick Rob up and toss him across the billiards table. Who knows what we're going to get into? We have a heck of a good time every time we do that at Callaway's, and I implore you to come on out and enjoy the fun with us. If you live in the Columbia area or anywhere around the South Carolina area, drop on by and see us. Hey, you don't have to be a drinker to come to the show just because it's at a sports bar and grill. You can kind of put yourself more on the grill side. Maybe you want to get your grip on while we're down there. Maybe you want to destroy some of those wings. You don't have to be a big drinker to just come and hang out at the bar. It's just a good place of fellowship for us to have it at. A church would be a good place for fellowship as well, but I don't think they'd let us put the live show on there. At any rate, come on out if you're interested next Friday night, Callaway Sports Bar and Grill, West Columbia. Now, on to what I wanted to talk about. And I think you know who I'm going to talk about because the Gomer Pyle, mushmouth, wallet-licking ding-a-ling who I have in the thumbnail would be once again the subject of this video. You know, I gotta tell you, it really is a telling sign that you have a losing program, isn't it? Here, when 2 weeks into November, you're sitting here making videos about how much you dislike your head coach, other than making videos about your team and rivalry week and what we're fixing to face and who we're facing off with this week and we're going to get where we ranked at this week. Man, geez. You got teams like Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech whose fans are out there talking about this shit right now, yet we're not. We're talking about which end of the couch we're going to sit on after the Tater game to watch the bowl games this year unfold. It is truly sickening, and it just galls me down to the pit of my stomach. But let's talk about Shane Beamer some more. Look, when this guy gets let go from the University of South Carolina as head football coach, and make no mistake about it, that day is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It may be a little bit later than you and I would wish, than sooner, but it is going to come. Because this guy is a complete dolt. He's a buffoon. He's in over his head, which I've told you for years on end that he's in on over his head. And last year nobody wanted to hear it. But this year everybody's drinking it up. Everybody's agreeing with me. Right on. I agree with you. You weren't agreeing with me last year when I said it, but I digress. And then I get the whole, well, last year I gave him a little bit of a pass. I really didn't go in on him that hard last year, especially after the beginning of the season. When things started rolling a little bit, I let up on him. I don't think I ever came out and told you he was the greatest coach in the world, man. I hope they give him an extension. He deserves everything he's got. No, there was never that kind of love shown. There never was. But you'll get in my comment section, these dinglings who get in there, well, where you at last year? You remember what your opinion on was last year? What changed? Well, what do you think changed, you moron? You know exactly what changed. Winning actually does that. Winning actually warms you up to a coach. And losing turns you off to him. And then losing when you get a plethora of excuses and crying and whining and diversion and failure to tackle the tough questions with a stoic, can-do-it attitude, and instead addressing them with disdain and a little piss-poor attitude. No, that turns me off to you really quick. So he has a press conference yesterday, and everybody's kind of all up in arms about the claim that he made that this year, next time, we're going to be looking at the college football playoff ranking to see where we're ranked. Everybody's up in arms about that. Okay, well, here's the thing. It's not as far-fetched as you think. Back in 2023, if he had made those same claim about 2024, this is what we're going to be doing, you'd have laughed at him then too. However, in 2024, they were doing that. Now, do I believe in 2026 that they can do it under his leadership? No, I don't, because I don't think they don't have the right mix of leadership on the team that they did in 2024 to be able to replicate that success under him. I don't think that you could replicate that under him again. I really don't, unless you went out and spent just an ungodly amount of money on a transfer portal roster to facilitate, or not to facilitate, to complement what you've already got there. I don't think that it's possible under him again. I think last year was his ceiling, and he got there through no fault of his own. So it's not that far-fetched that he would talk about it, because he's already been there before. The part that's off-putting to me is not talking about it. The part that's off-putting to me is that you're talking about it when you should be talking about other things, when you should be discussing other things. You've got 2 more ball games left. I know you're not going anywhere. So you're not going anywhere because of a result of a shitty season which you engineered. So you're going to talk about what we're going to do next year. I mean, you're putting the cart before the horse, my friend. Talk about the next 2 games, what you're going to do to win them, what you're going to do Saturday, what's your plan for Saturday. You got some banged up players. Are they going to play Saturday? Are you going to sit them and rest them? What are you going to do? How are you going to combat Coastal's offense that they've got going on? Your defense looked like shit on Saturday, especially in the second half. What are you going to do to combat this? This is something you hadn't seen all year long. Yeah. Are you looking ahead to the taters? Are you watching anything? We need to relate to what is going on in the here and now. And I agree with the questions about the locker room, the questions about the culture in the locker room. Yes, what's going on there? How are we feeling there? Is it positive there? That's fine. You can talk about all of that. You talked about all of that. You made a few good points, but then you have to go and you have to throw in these little barbs like, I know nobody wants to hear it, but we had a great practice on Sunday night. And the other little barb was, I know nobody wants to hear it, but we're not that far off. We're not that far off. Okay, well, the reason why nobody wants to hear it is because they want to hear you be real. They want to hear you talk about what you're doing to do to fix our problems right now. We want you to own up to it and take accountability for it. No, nobody wants to hear about we had a great practice on Sunday night. They really don't. And the fact that you know that your fan base doesn't want to hear it because of the backlash you've gotten on social media and in other spots, I would assume, leads me to believe that you shouldn't say it. Stop saying it. Don't deliberately do things that are going to piss people off. You're not a good troll. You're not a good troll. Lane Kiffin can be a troll, because Lane Kiffin is desirable. He's wanted. And there's a good reason for that. He's a really good football coach. You're not 1/10 the football coach that Lane Kiffin is. So stop trying to troll like Lane Kiffin. And I'm not suggesting that Shane Beamer is trying to imitate Lane Kiffin. It's just what it puts me in the mind of when I think of a college football coach that's a troll. It's not funny. It's not popular. It's not drawing people to you. It's alienating people. My guy. It's alienating people. Nobody thinks your shtick is funny anymore. Especially with the results that you've given us. Nobody thinks it's funny anymore. And the little snarky attitude that he got with a reporter who, I don't know. I tuned out a lot of what he was saying, to be honest with you, because it's just the same old regurgitated stuff that I've heard so many times before. Nothing is fresh, new, and exciting. It's just all word salad. Well, not so much word salad, but it feels like the same thing that I've heard time and time again, and we all have. I think there are a lot of Gamecock fans who are like myself, in that we could probably recite some of his pressers verbatim. They're so predictable. But the one reporter asked a question, I guess it was phrased a little bit differently, but somehow asked about the same thing that the person previous to him had asked. He's like, okay, well, I believe we answered that question last time, but and then he goes into an answer. Just shut up. You don't have the mettle to be a dick in the press conference. You don't have that mettle. Okay? Nick Saban could be a dick in the press conference if he wanted to. Urban Meyer could be a dick in the press conference if he wanted to. Hell, back in his heyday, Dabo could have been a dick in the press conference if he wanted to. He can't now because his team sucks. Kirby could be a dick in the press conference if he wanted to. You can't. You haven't earned your stripes. You haven't earned the first stripe. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything to make yourself up on some kind of pedestal where a reporter's going to be like, oh my God, I mean, I asked Coach the wrong thing. I better back down, man. I better tighten it up if I want to keep my credentials down here, man. I better level up a little bit. No, nobody. You don't. That reporter probably just looked at you and thought, what a smarmy little shit. I wish I could slap the shit out of you. That's probably what he was thinking. In fact, I know he probably was. They don't have respect for you. They don't have respect for you. So, it's going to suck when he's not the coach here anymore, because he has given a YouTube content creator like myself just an absolute treasure trove of content. He has given us a treasure trove of things to talk about, to ridicule, to laugh at, to mock. I mean, all that will go away at some point, because I guarantee you that the next head coach they get is not going to be as much of a polarizing buffoon as this guy is. Because there's absolutely no way. There's just no way. I mean, if you ever listen to his dad talk and give a press conference back in the day, or not so much a press conference, I never actually listened to his press conference, just an interview on the sideline, or listen to him talk. You know, you heard him speak. I wouldn't even know that this was the same. There's no resemblance to me, other than Shane looks facially somewhat similar to Frank Beamer, because he's aged. He didn't 5 years ago, but he does now, by God. He does now, by God. That losing and that stress, oh yeah, that's going to put some age on you. I made the comment that Billy Napier looked like he was 30 years old when he came to Florida. He looked like he was 60 years old when he left. And it's the same thing with this ding-a-ling. They look like they've been rode hard, and they've been fixing to be put up wet. And Lord have mercy, the time that you get hung up wet, it just can't come too soon. But I just wanted to jump on here and talk about him for just a minute. This guy continues to put his foot in his mouth and just piss off and further push away the fan base that he just doesn't realize it don't take that much. It don't take that much for you to be admired, loved, and respected here. It really doesn't. You don't have to do a lot. In fact, you basically just got to do about what everybody else does on a year-in, year-out basis, which is win 7, 8, 9 ball games on a regular, and maybe make a push for the playoffs, kind of stay ranked somewhat semi-consistently. A lot of teams do that all the time. So it's the reason why Kirk Ferentz has stayed away. It's why he stayed employed at Iowa for so long. Right? Because I guess the expectations there were never super, super duper high, and he's always stayed right around in that realm. 7, 8, 9 wins. Sometimes they're ranked, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they win big games. Sometimes they stay close in big games, but they lose them. You don't ever see like real drama associated with that program, like these epic collapses and this off-the-cuff bullshit. They're saying there's a handful of programs out there like that. And I'm not suggesting that should be our bar, that should be our ceiling, but it's a good starting point. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about that, guys. I'm about to the first stop, and I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you guys later on. Appreciate you. Peace, and I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!